Throughout history, there have been infamous assassinations that have altered the trajectory of nations, shaping political landscapes, and influencing the course of significant events. Join Facts vs. History as we present infamous assassinations that changed the course of history. Julius Caesar, 44 BCE. Julius Caesar, a prominent Roman general, had become a powerful figure in the late Roman Republic. He had crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BCE, initiating a civil war, and eventually declared himself dictator for life. On March 15, 44 BC, a group of Roman senators led by Brutus and Cassius assassinated Julius Caesar in a conspiracy known as the Ides of March. They feared his growing power and saw him as a threat to the traditional republican system. Caesar's death led to political chaos and a power struggle in Rome. Civil wars erupted, and ultimately Caesar's grandnephew and adopted son, Octavian, later known as Augustus, emerged victorious. It marked the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire, and thus it marked a critical turning point in Roman history. The empire went on to shape the course of Western civilization for centuries. Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Franz Ferdinand was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his assassination was a catalyst for World War I. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was dealing with ethnic tensions and nationalism among its diverse subjects. On June 28, 1914, Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, were assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a member of a Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand. They sought to free South Slavic people from the Austro-Hungarian rule. Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia, which eventually led to a series of declarations of war and alliances escalating into World War I. The assassination is often regarded as the spark that ignited the war, one of the deadliest conflicts in history. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States and a prominent leader during the American Civil War, which was fought over issues of slavery and states' rights. On April 14, 1865, during a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer and actor, shot President Lincoln in the back of the head. Lincoln died the following day, making him the first U.S. president to be assassinated. Vice President Andrew Johnson assumed the presidency during a critical period of post-war Reconstruction. Lincoln's assassination had a profound impact on the United States. It influenced the process of Reconstruction, the struggle for civil rights, and the eventual abolition of slavery. He became a symbol of unity and emancipation. Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was the leader of India's nonviolent independence movement against British colonial rule. On January 30, 1948, Gandhi was assassinated by Nathuram Godse, a Hindu nationalist who opposed Gandhi's views on interfaith harmony and partition between India and Pakistan. Gandhi's death was met with shock and grief in India and around the world. It marked a tumultuous period in Indian history as the country was dealing with the challenges of gaining independence and religious tensions. Gandhi's assassination highlighted the challenges of achieving a united and secular India after gaining independence from British rule. His principles of nonviolence and civil disobedience continue to inspire movements for justice and human rights globally. John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was the 35th President of the United States during a period marked by the Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Cuban Missile Crisis. On November 22, 1963, while riding in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas, Kennedy was assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. The exact motives behind the assassination remain the subject of debate and conspiracy theories. His assassination shocked the nation and the world. Vice President Lyndon Johnson was sworn in as president, and a period of mourning and investigation followed. Kennedy's death had several consequences, including a continuation of the Cold War policies, the escalation of U.S. involvement in Vietnam, and an enduring fascination with the Kennedy family's legacy. It also led to changes in presidential security measures in the United States. Leon Trotsky. Leon Trotsky was a prominent figure in the early Soviet Union, alongside Joseph Stalin and Vladimir Lenin. Trotsky was a leader of the Bolshevik Revolution and played a key role in the Russian Civil War. On August 20th, 1940, Trotsky was assassinated in Mexico City by Ramon Mercader, an agent of the Soviet NKVD, the predecessor to the KGB. Trotsky had been in exile and was critical of Stalin's leadership. His assassination marked the end of his opposition to Stalin's regime and solidified Stalin's control over the Soviet Union. The removal of Trotsky from the political scene allowed Stalin to pursue his policies without significant internal opposition, leading to widespread purges, industrialization, and the Great Terror in the Soviet Union. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a leader in the American civil rights movement, advocating for racial equality and nonviolent protest. On April 4, 1968, he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, by James Earl Ray, a white supremacist and fugitive. King was in Memphis to support striking African American sanitation workers. His assassination led to widespread outrage, protests, and riots in many U.S. cities. It also had a significant impact on the civil rights movement. King's death marked a turning point in the civil rights struggle. It led to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, which aimed to end housing discrimination and continued to inspire efforts for racial justice in the U.S. Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a prominent figure in the civil rights movement, known for his advocacy of black separatism and self-defense. On February 21, 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated in New York City's Audubon Ballroom by members of the Nation of Islam, a group he had left the year before. His views had become increasingly moderate and inclusive. Malcolm X's assassination was met with shock and grief among his supporters. It also highlighted divisions within the civil rights movement and the struggle for African American empowerment. Olof Palme. Olof Palme was the Prime Minister of Sweden, known for his progressive policies and international activism. On February 28, 1986, Palme was assassinated in Stockholm while walking home from the cinema with his wife Lisbeth. The assassination, Christer Peterson, was a criminal with a history of violence. Palme's assassination shocked Sweden and had political repercussions. Christer Peterson was initially convicted but later acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Palme's death had a significant impact on Swedish politics and society. It marked the end of an era of progressive social democracy in Sweden and led to changes in security measures for public figures. Thomas Becket. Thomas Becket was the Archbishop of Canterbury during the reign of King Henry II of England. He was known for his efforts to assert the independence of the Church from royal authority. On December 29, 1170, he was murdered in Canterbury Cathedral by 4 knights who were followers of King Henry II. The exact motivations behind the assassination remain a subject of historical debate. His murder outraged both the church and the public. He was canonized as a saint in 1173 and became a symbol of resistance to secular interference in religious affairs. Now it's time to hear from you. Can you think of any other major assassinations that changed history? Let us know in the comments section below.